The opening scene of the movie takes place in the nighttime, outside of a Porsche dealership, where Kip, a car thief, plans to steal a brand new Porsche 911. Disregarding the alarm, he recklessly shatters the store window with a brick and proceeds to retrieve the car keys from the key box before driving off with his gang. The remainder of the team, consisting of younger individuals, awaits his arrival at an abandoned warehouse that already houses a number of stolen vehicles. While at a traffic light, Kip initiates a challenge to race another sports car. His reckless driving draws the attention of law enforcement, and although he safely makes it to the warehouse, the police continue to pursue him, resulting in the need to abandon all of the stolen cars and flee. Detective Rowland arrives at the warehouse and determines that the theft was executed by a group of skilled individuals. Included in the stolen cars are several new Mercedes, which prompts Rowland to instruct his colleague to impound them. In the following scene, the movie's main character, Memphis, is providing instruction to children on racing go-karts at a track. Previously, Memphis was a renowned car thief, but has since abandoned the illegal profession. He is visited by Atlee, an old acquaintance, who notifies him of his younger brother Kip's predicament. Kip agreed to deliver 50 cars for a local gangster, Kalitri, but was unsuccessful in doing so. Atlee recounts how Kalitri is a ruthless individual who will murder Kip if the task is not completed. Kip is apprehended by Kalitri, prompting Memphis to visit him to discuss the situation. He travels to Kalitri's scrapyard to negotiate his brother's release, but is informed that he must provide 50 cars within 4 days, or Kip will be murdered. Initially declining the assignment, Memphis returns the $10,000 provided by the gangster. However, Kalitri refuses the money and provides Memphis with a list containing the 50 cars he is required to steal. Also, apart from releasing Kip, Kalitri promises to give him $200,000. After turning his back on a life of crime, Memphis is initially unwilling to accept an assignment from Kalitri. However, he ultimately agrees after he orders to kill Kip using a car crusher. Taking Kip back to his residence, Memphis is saddened by the effects of a criminal lifestyle on his brother. Kip attempts to prepare lunch but is visibly anxious, resulting in a messy outcome. Afterwards, Memphis pays a visit to his mother, who works as a waitress at a nearby diner. He confides in her about the situation, and she implores him to do what he can to spare his brother's life. As he exits the diner, Officer Rowland and his partner intercept him and warn that any unlawful actions will result in life imprisonment. They are aware of Kalitri's assignment and plan to monitor Memphis closely. That same evening, he visits the garage of his mentor, Otto, explaining the problem and asking for help. Otto has built a peaceful and honest life and doesn't want to throw it away. Nevertheless, he wants to help Memphis because he sees him as a son. The following day, Memphis and Otto attempt to assemble a team but find that most potential members are deceased or incarcerated. Donnie, a driving instructor frustrated with his profession, is the first to join the team. Sphinx, a mute funeral director, also agrees to participate. Memphis visits his ex-girlfriend Sarah, a mechanic and part-time bartender who has abandoned criminal activities. Despite Memphis's fervent pleas, she declines to accompany him after learning he must deliver 50 cars to a dangerous criminal within a few days. As Memphis prepares to leave, an old enemy gang confronts him and threatens violence if he remains in town. The gang was originally supposed to receive the assignment from Kalitri, but Kip's involvement disrupted their plans. As they attack Memphis, Sphinx appears and destroys their vehicles before assaulting the gang, saving Memphis. Later that evening, they are having drinks when Memphis notices a photograph of his late father, a car dealer. He believes that if his father was still alive, both of his brothers would be working at a car dealership. Kip relates that he has his gang and can no longer live a normal life. Memphis describes how he felt excited every time he stole a car, but after several friends died and were imprisoned, he decided to quit. The following morning, Memphis and his crew examine the inventory of cars he must deliver to Kalitri. Kip and his gang subsequently arrive and offer to assist, but Memphis initially refuses his brother's involvement. After a dispute, Otto persuades Memphis to permit Kip's participation, noting that they require additional support to succeed. Though inexperienced, Kip's team is exceptionally talented. Mirrorman serves as the technology expert, James is a proficient driver, Toby handles database hacking, and Fred is a mechanic. They establish Otto's store as their base of operations, with Toby hacking into the DMV database to track the listed vehicles, each assigned a feminine nickname. The final vehicle on the list, dubbed Eleanor, is a personalized 1967 Mustang GT that has caused trouble for Memphis in the past. All 3 confiscated Mercedes require unique laser-cut keys that are unreplicable. Roland's colleague discovers that all were purchased from a Newport dealership, Dressner Foreign Motors, where a single ex-con works, replacing keys lost by the manufacturer in Germany. They confront him and threaten to arrest him for auto theft if he does not cooperate. So he agrees to contact them if the person who paid him for the replacement keys returns. Concurrently, Memphis formulates a strategy to hijack all the cars in one night. They begin by hacking into the databases and subsequently conduct traditional surveillance to locate the target vehicles. Moreover, Memphis locates the exceedingly rare Ferrari 275 GTB. As Memphis and Atlee discuss the car's location, Sarah, Memphis's former partner, arrives and joins the team. James goes to the ex-con to obtain the keys to the Mercedes, who then informs the detectives of this. The detectives follow James to their new headquarters, where they plan to ambush Memphis when he comes to steal the Mercedes. At the end of the day, Memphis goes to see Eleanor, his 1967 GR500. It is the only car he has never been able to steal, because it was giving him a lot of trouble. During their journey home, Memphis and Kip are ambushed by the opposing gang and subjected to gunfire while in their vehicle. They successfully flee and conceal themselves in a nearby restaurant, adjacent to a police vehicle. Though the gang is unable to infiltrate the premises due to the presence of law enforcement, they wait outside. Later, Kip connects a truck to a car engine with a rope, and when the truck driver drives away, he rips the car engine behind himself. This attracts the attention of police officers, who stop the gang members and find their illegal firearms. The following day, Fred brings one of the listed vehicles to the base. He claims to have obtained it from Chinatown, but upon opening the trunk, they discover an abundant quantity of heroin. Detective Roland arrives on the scene, and the team is forced to hide the illegal substance. Though they manage to divert the detective's attention and avoid arrest, Roland becomes suspicious of Memphis and his group's intentions, sensing that they are preparing to steal cars that night. As predicted, the team proceeds to steal the vehicles, making their way to a specific dealership to acquire the Ferraris on their list. The process is more straightforward for some cars than others, necessitating quick thinking and resourcefulness. Eventually, they transport the stolen vehicles to a location near the port. In an attempt to steal a car, Mirrorman disguises himself as a valet and steals it right in front of the owner. While stealing an expensive Lamborghini, Sarah and Memphis start talking about how their romance ended when he left the illegal business unexpectedly. Then they become intimate for a moment. In the meantime, Roland and his team continue to monitor the 3 Mercedes. As Memphis attempts to steal one of the cars, he spots a suspicious van nearby and decides to abort the mission. Upon returning to their base, they discover that the key supplier has double-crossed them. Despite feeling defeated, they remember that they still have the keys to the Mercedes they previously acquired, so they decide to steal the Mercedes confiscated by the police. But there's a problem. Otto's dog has swallowed the keys for the Mercedes, so they give him laxatives and walk him to retrieve them. Meanwhile, an inmate informs Roland that Memphis is stealing cars for Calitri, who is taking them to South America. When the detectives go to Memphis's gang headquarters, they discover the list of cars written on the walls. Roland chooses to put several rare cars under surveillance, including the GT500. Knowing Memphis, he is convinced that he will steal the GT500 last. Sphinx, Sarah and Memphis, on the other hand, collect the keys from the dog and go to the depot to steal the Mercedes. While Mirrorman distracts the guard, the team steals the cars. Memphis discovers that only 3 more cars are needed to complete the job. Later, Mirrorman and Sphinx try to steal a rare Humvee, but some policemen try to stop them, further complicating the situation. Sphinx breaks through the police car and takes the Humvee to the port, ignoring the presence of a snake in the vehicle. While Kip is in a suburb attempting to steal an SUV, things go awry when policemen block the road and start shooting at them, hitting Toby. Despite this, they manage to outrun the officers and take the car to the port, where they then take Toby to the doctor. Now, the GT500 is the only car left. Memphis loves this car, but he has never been able to steal it. He goes to the car with Sarah, and as soon as he gets behind the wheel, Roland and his partner appear. In an attempt to buy time for Memphis, Sarah blocks the police officer's path, but Detective Roland outsmarts her, and a chase ensues. Memphis, driving the GT 500, is pursued by numerous police cars. He navigates through traffic and narrow streets to evade the authorities, and despite almost crashing into a garbage truck, he manages to escape. The pursuit is joined by a helicopter, but Memphis uses the neighborhood streets to evade detection. However, the car eventually experiences a minor malfunction and won't start. Memphis is almost caught, but the car gets going again, just in time to escape. As he tries to drive the car back to the port, Atlee informs Kip that his brother left the world of crime to prevent him from following his path. Memphis tries to outrun police cars by driving through the shipyards in the city. He reaches a bridge that leads directly to the harbor, but there is a roadblock in front. With the cops chasing him, he decides to drive over a ramp to get past the roadblock. Despite his efforts, he is told that his time is up when he reaches the port. Memphis attempts to reason with Calitri, but instead it results in Calitri ordering his murder. Kip and Atlee prevent Memphis from being killed by Calitri. Memphis then confronts Calitri in his office and physically attacks him. Calitri pulls out a gun, causing Memphis to hide. As Calitri chases Memphis, Detective Roland arrives on the scene. Calitri sees Roland and shoots at him, narrowly missing his hand. Roland drops his gun, and Calitri prepares to kill him, but Memphis intervenes and pushes Calitri over a fence, killing him. Roland thanks Memphis for saving his life and lets him go. After informing Roland of the whereabouts of the stolen cars, Memphis takes his leave. The entire gang then convenes at Otto's store for lunch. During the meal, Sphinx surprisingly speaks up and reveals his British accent. Lastly, Kip gifts Memphis with a rundown GT 500, and he departs with Sarah. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.